Hey guys, what's up? This is Corey, and welcome back to Plants vs. Zombies. So I fixed that audio problem that was happening in the last video. I'm not sure what that was, but I basically just reopened FRAPS and did a test recording and it was fixed. So I don't know what it was, but now my voice should be coming in from both sides instead of just the right. So, for this episode, I think what I'm going to do is show my personal favorite strategy for doing this last stand minigame. This one's really interesting. What it is you pick your plants, and then you have to survive 5 flags, and in between each one you get 250 extra sun. But the gimmick is you can't use sunflowers. You plant all your plants before the zombies start coming, and you have to come up with a setup that will last throughout the round. So that's basically the gist of it. So here's what I like to do. As you can see, I have all 10 plant slots, so that makes this a lot easier. I rely on just basically massive power. So I get melon pulse. And then, because of the fact that there are pole vaulting zombies and the dolphin riders, walnuts are not going to suffice because they can just vault right over them. So you're going to want tall nuts for starters. And then, of course, lily pads, because it is the pool level. Spikeweed. Let's see what else. Oh yeah, the winter melon upgrade. That one's pretty important. And just regular old pea shooters. And then these last 4... you can just use for basically, with this strategy, you only have 50 spare sun to use. So basically just anything like in case of emergency, like a walnut, if one of the tall nuts gets broken down near the end and you need to replace it really fast. Squash could do the trick, possibly some tangle kelp, maybe even garlic, that might help. Or I guess I could do a potato mine. Now I'll go with the garlic. I've done this strategy multiple times, and I've never had to use any of these, so that's not really too much of a worry. So let's rock. So you have 5,000 sun here, and that's just enough to do this. So you're going to start out with 6 lily pads in this arrangement, and then put a column of walnuts all the way down right here, and then put up the melon pulse. And you're going to do 2 columns of these, so 12 total. Just spam these across, and these guys are the basis of this strategy because they just do so much damage, and having 2 on each row is pretty much plenty to take out most of the zombies that are going to come at you. And then a spikeweed in front of each tall nut, and unfortunately you can't put those on lily pads, otherwise I would put them here. That's the one thing that leaves these guys a bit more vulnerable, is that while the swimming zombies are chewing on these, they're not getting hurt by the spikeweed like they are on the land rows. So that's about it for now. Yeah, you're going to have 100 sun left over now, but as I said, after each flag you get 250 more. You'll see how it works. So once you get this set up, click Start Onslaught, and it's just going to go. And with Last Stand, there's really not much you can do. Pretty much just sit here and watch your plants destroy the zombies and collect coins if they drop any. And then, of course, use any of this stuff if you really, really need to, but especially for the first wave, you're not going to have to at all. These are kind of like the TSPPs, which, as I explained in the last video, I didn't coin that term. That was by Nintendo Capri Sun, but it's a temporary solution for a permanent problem. So just basically the one-time use things like the squash or the tangle kelp. These 2 are not really, I mean, they're not temporary, but they're also not permanent. Like, they're meant to get eaten and the zombies will get through them eventually. But yeah, the TSPPs are the ones like the explosive, like the cherry bombs and the jalapenos that just, you click it once, it destroys stuff, or the ice shroom, but then it's gone, so it's temporary. So that's the idea behind that. But again, I've used this strategy multiple times, and I haven't lost a single tall nut or needed to use any of this stuff, so. The one problem is if there ever is a ladder zombie, because those guys really suck because they can just go right over the tall nuts, so that can be a bit of a problem, but should be alright. You can always, that's when you might want to put out a walnut so he'll use up his ladder before he gets here, and then he can't get past your defenses and start chewing up your artillery. Or he'll probably just get killed by the time he gets there anyways, because these melon pulse, the cool thing is they do splash damage. They don't just damage the zombie they hit, they damage everything to either side, I think within like a 1 square radius. So see, we defended that first flag, absolutely no problem, and got 250 extra sun. But we're not going to plant anything else just yet. So we're going to continue on for the second wave with this same setup, and it should be fine. Excuse me, had to burp right there. But yeah, I've just been having so much fun with this game. and I'll probably be doing plenty of videos of it in the time that it takes for me to recover and be able to continue playing those other games, as I've been saying, like, constantly. Just kind of sucks, but, you know, this is fun. This game is really super addicting. Like, you have no idea. I don't know how fun it is. Well, I know how fun it is. It can be to watch if you're good at commentary, which I'm not, so I don't know if this is all that enjoyable. I hope it is, but I mean, to play this game, it seems kind of repetitive, especially when you're doing the adventure mode, not all these cool and fun mini games. But I don't know, I can't stop. It's like every level starts out basically the same way, but I never get tired of it. Just play for hours. I mean, when I first got this game, I practically played all through the night. So yeah, this is doing pretty good. There's a whole bunch of football players on that row, and that's kind of worrying. So those guys are going to really chew up this tall nut. But, I mean, the melon pulse should be able to take care of him. See, it's already down to its first stage of damage, but not really worth, or not really in need of replacement yet, so that's all fine. And here we go with the huge wave coming through. Oh man, he's already down to... He's crying, he's so sad, he's being eaten by the zombies. What I don't understand is why the walnuts and tall nuts appear to be hollow. It's like someone stole the nuts out of them and left the shell intact. Maybe they'll have holes in their butts. Okay, that was just unnecessary. So we made it without too much trouble through here. There were just 3 football zombies in a row on that top row, and that kind of sucked. So now we have 600 sun, and that is enough to implement the next stage of this strategy, and that is to take 2 winter melons and put it specifically, it doesn't matter whether it's the left or right one, but on rows 2 and 5. And the reason for that is that, like I said, the melons do splash damage. So even though there's not enough sun to put a winter melon on every single row, it's going to fling it across there, and it'll freeze pretty much all the zombies around it, because it freezes, like I said, a 1-block radius around where it hits. So as long as the zombies are grouped together, it'll pretty much get them all frozen and slow them all down, and it still does just as much damage as the regular melon pulse. So it's just that added bonus gives the zombies more time to get injured while they're walking across here. And also the reason for the placement of the tall nuts is that we're going to be putting something here, but we want them as far to the left as possible so that the zombies can be taking as much damage as possible before they get to the tall nuts, because you want that one column of tall nuts to last through all 5 flags without getting eaten up, which might be a problem for this guy right here, but we'll see. As long as there's not too many more football guys on that top row, should be fine. Spikeweed obviously helps. You want to make sure you put that, like, spikeweed and tall nuts or walnuts is just a really good combination in any circumstance in this game, because, you know, while they're sitting there eating the tall nut, they're just constantly being damaged by that. Whereas if you put it further back, you know, they'll get hit by it maybe 3 or 4 times as they're walking across it, but then they'll be done, and then they'll be stuck chewing the tall nut without taking more damage, so it's a lot better this way. These guys can also be a problem. I still don't know. I've been playing this game for a while, and I still don't know what triggers their jack-in-the-box to explode. I really don't know what it is, but I do know that when it happens, it blows up all your plants. So, it's kind of not good if those guys get too far in and then that thing goes off, then that destroys your tall nuts. But I haven't had that problem so far. So far, I've been able to just kill him with these melon pults before it gets that far. Alright, so then once again, we're just going to continue on with this current setup without planting anything else, because we need another 150 sun to, or no, another 200 sun to finish up what we want to do here. And we'll have that after the next flag, so we're just going to continue on here. And with these winter melons, I mean, after the first flag, you'd have enough to put one up, and then you could wait and put the second one up after the second flag. But really, I don't like to do that because I like to keep stuff really even. I'm kind of OCD that way. I like everything to be, you know, perfect and straight, and so I'd rather wait till I have enough to put them both up at once so that everything's nice and symmetrical. But that's just a burp, and, you know, that's entirely up to you. If you want to try using this strategy, you can do it however you want. You can put these out one at a time, I don't care. But I like it this way. So no one's even gotten over to the tall nuts yet. I'm sure this football guy's going to, but yeah, you can see that freezing him really helps. And yeah, these guys aren't going to cause too many problems. Both their helmets are already damaged. This is already off, and they're just being bombarded by melons. So, you know, hitting their melons with melons, really. I wonder which is stronger, the cone heads or the screen door ones? They seem to be about even. I don't know, the screen doors might be a bit more sturdy than the cones, I'm not sure. I'm sure you could look it up on the wiki or even test it if you wanted, but, you know, maybe it says in the almanac. Yeah, okay, this might be a problem here. I'm gonna be prepared to replace this with a walnut. Because that football guy, his helmet's only just damaged, and that tall nut's been chewed on quite a lot. Yeah, see, he got through. Man, that sucks. This is gonna be a problem, especially if there's a pole vaulting zombie coming over. So now I'm not going to have that 50 extra sun. That's honestly, I've tried the strategy many times, and that's the first time that I lost a tall nut. There were just way too many football zombies that kept coming on that top row. I mean, usually by now I'd have 3 or 4 tall nuts that were at this first stage of damage, so that's good. The rest of the rows have been pretty protected. So now we have 650 sun. Normally you'd have 700 if it weren't for that. And so what we're going to do here is put out 2 lily pads, and then just to call them a pea shooters. And I know it may not seem like much, I mean only 1 pea doesn't do a whole lot of damage, but really it's just another way to spend your sun as opposed to just having all this extra surplus and not anything to do with it. So I mean, you could forget this part, put the tall nuts another column back, and then save up extra sun and have stuff like cherry bombs for in case of emergency. But I like to do this, it's just a little extra firepower, and it seems to be noticeable how much it does, even though it's not a whole lot of extra damage. And the first few times I did this, when I came up with this strategy, is I used 2 3-peaters. I put 1 here and 1 here on rows 2 and 5, just like with the winter melons, because I figured, you know, it was something that would affect all 3 rows, but I only had to put up 2 plants. Then I realized that takes... Oops. Then I realized that to do that, it really is the exact same as this, because if you have a 3-peater here and here, then you only have 1 pea on each of the 6 rows. And if you do this, you only have 1 pea on each of the 6 rows. And if you do the 3-peaters, then those plants, you're paying a total of 650 for 1 pea on each row. And if you do this, you're also paying 650 for a pea on each row, because 600 for the pea shooters and 50 for the lily pads. So basically it's the same cost for the exact same effect, and I figured it just looked nicer to have a whole column filled up. I don't know. It doesn't really matter. You can do it either way and it turns out exactly the same as far as I can tell, but you know, I guess if you're more inclined to put stuff along the way as you have enough money, as opposed to, like I do, wait for the last flag to put them all 6 at once, then these are a lot better than the 3-peaters, because you'd be able to put them out more gradually, whereas with the 3-peaters, they cost so much, you pretty much have to wait till the end and do it both at once. So I don't know how easy it is to hear. Oh, that's not good. See, that's what I was talking about. Man, I'm just having terrible luck. I never lose a single tall nut, and then this one time, I lose that one up there, and now I have a problem with the jack-in-the-box zombie. I'll probably still be able to take these guys out, but that's scary. That one bucket head might be a bit of a problem, especially because this winter melon's no longer going to be freezing them because there's no one on row 5 here to be hit by it. So I think I'm good though. You might get to eating up that pea shooter, but oh, not quite. All right, there we go. And that's all 5 flags completed. So that strategy worked pretty well. Not as well as in the past, but you can see it's pretty decent, and you use up all but 50 of your sun, saving some for these TSPPs. So there we go, that's all there is to it. And I guess that'll be it for this episode. I'll probably be putting another one out like right away because I want to do some other stuff, but as for this video, that'll do it. So I hope you guys enjoyed. Please give the video a like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you all later. Goodbye.